Forget movie Alchemy. The promise here is specific, and it's not what people assume. A claim opens with something almost too physical. A pinch of powder, saffron-colored, heavy for its size. It catches light like crushed glass. And the report is blunt. 1/4 of a grain is wrapped in wax, dropped into a crucible with a pound of quicksilver. A small noise. The flowing metal stands still, like a lump. The heat is driven harder. And what's left is described as pure gold. That specificity matters, because it tells you what this tradition thinks it's doing. Not wishing, not manifesting, not chasing vibes. It's claiming a mechanism. So let's read the stone claim like a contract. 3 clauses: what it promises, what it doesn't, and what it quietly requires. Clause 1, what the stone is. In this system, the stone isn't a rock you find. It's a made thing, a prepared substance, a concentrated principle. Think of it as the active inside matter, the part that can command change. Small in quantity, large in effect. That's why the descriptions obsess over texture, powder, brightness, a color between yellow and red, not to impress you, to frame it as material, not metaphor. Clause 2, what it promises. The obvious promise is transmutation, but not as anything becomes anything, as one specific move. Volatile becomes fixed, unstable becomes stable. A thing that cannot endure fire becomes a thing that can. Notice the choice of target in the report. Quicksilver, liquid, restless, hard to hold. A perfect test for volatility in every sense. Then the promise widens. The same medicine that perfects metals is said to perfect bodies. Not like a modern supplement, like an older idea of a universal corrective. A remedy that restores order in the mixture, a correction of imbalance, a return to proportion. That's why the claim doesn't stop at gold. It reaches for health, clarity, and a kind of inner stability. The language is bold, healthy, wise, happy. In this frame, those aren't abstract goals. They're outcomes of composition. When the mixture is right, the mind steadies. When the mind steadies, perception clears. When perception clears, life stops feeling like constant friction. The stone is presented as a single instrument. One subject, one lever, applied to many kinds of imperfect matter. Clause 3, what it doesn't promise. It does not promise instant results for casual curiosity. The same pages that speak of wonders also speak of difficulty. They insist the work is hard to attain. They repeat that most people never finish. It also doesn't promise a shortcut around character. Before you even reach substances, the text talks about preparation, not as a moral performance, as operational hygiene. If the work is about fixing the volatile, then a volatile life is the wrong container. Deceit, instability, constant distraction, cheap talk, that isn't sin language. That's volatility. And volatility can't hold fixation. So the stone claim is not. Get the right ingredient and reality obeys. It's closer to become the kind of operator who can keep a thing steady long enough to mature. It also doesn't promise theatrical sorcery. No show, no circles. No ceremony is entertainment. The claim reads like severe craftsmanship. Nature accelerated. Nature purified. Nature brought to completion. Now, here's the part most people miss. The stone claim is not primarily about gold. Gold is the proof. Gold is the receipt. Gold is the visible stamp that says the mechanism worked. The deeper promise is control of the passage from unstable to stable, from scattered to coherent, from reactive to fixed. That's why the story of a tiny dose changing a massive quantity keeps returning. A grain acting on thousands. A small active principle reorganizing a whole passive field. And you can recognize the same logic outside the furnace. One decision fixes months of drift. One boundary stops years of leakage. One truthful sentence ends a long pattern of doublespeak. Not because words are spells, because a stable principle introduced into a volatile system changes its behavior. That's correspondence, not as decoration, as mechanics across levels. So when you hear stone, don't imagine a gemstone on a velvet pillow. Imagine a finished state, a state that can reproduce itself, a state that can impose order. And when you hear the promises, don't turn them into fantasies. Keep them sharp. Transmutation means volatility can be fixed. Medicine means mixture can be corrected. Wisdom means perception can be stabilized. Happiness means your inner climate stops ruling the whole kingdom. One last detail, and it matters. The report describes wax, a wrapper, a carrier. Even in the dramatic moment, the active isn't thrown raw into the fire. It's delivered, contained, timed, which means the tradition is saying something practical. Power is useless without a vessel. That's the cleanest summary of what the stone does and doesn't promise. It promises a real transformation of matter through a concentrated active principle. It does not promise entertainment, shortcuts, or chaos-driven miracles. It quietly requires a vessel that can hold steadiness, hold that lens. And the stone stops being a legend. It becomes a model for how small causes dominate big outcomes, a model for how fixed states reshape volatile ones, a model you can spot, not just admire. If this kind of reading helps you see the structure behind the symbol, like and subscribe.